Right now, on to the point. Some airport employees concerned for their jobs as the county ends a contract with a local nonprofit.
We've been visiting with our team the last 2 days, letting them know about the bad news.
Plus, a 13-year-old girl fighting for her life tonight after being hit by 2 cars. The search for the driver involved.
A quick break from the rain, but the next storm system headed our way. How it may impact your Easter weekend.
And later, 6 years since a young mother's body was found in a Sacramento river. Her death remains a mystery.
There's desire for the sense of closure.
Tonight, her father and detectives speak out searching for answers. About 100 SMF custodian employees are concerned about the future of their job. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and for the past 11 years, the county contracted a local nonprofit to help keep some SMF workers employed. And as our Jeannie Nguyen found out, the county is ending that contract and choosing a new company that's headquartered out of state.
SMF is a busy place, and many people don't think twice about these garbage and recycle bins or even this caution sign. But for the past 11 years, these have been signs of Pride Industries.
Over 35% of our employees have disabilities at the airport. For our company-wide, we're about over 50% of our employees have disabilities.
But on Tuesday, the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors decided Pride Industries' time at SMF was over.
We've been visiting with our team the last 2 days, letting them know about the bad news.
County staff weighed the options between Pride and Tennessee-based company Total Maintenance Management, or TMM.
It looks like the indirect cost, overhead and profit, for Pride was about 213% more.
On top of cost, Supervisor Rich Desmond expressed concerns about the quality of work.
Performance issues, there were some issues regarding performance.
County staff confirming those issues had been ongoing.
They've been penalized in all but 1 month for failure to meet the goals that they themselves set.
But Pride CEO Jeff Dern doesn't agree.
We're very proud of our performance. Our performance scores have only gone up and up and up the last 3 years.
Current employees showed up to Tuesday's meeting to voice their concerns about the possibility of losing their jobs.
We are here today to ask the Sacramento Board of Supervisors to protect jobs for people with disabilities and support Pride Industries.
TMM's CEO told the board that retaining current employees is their priority.
We will fully comply with the Displaced Janitors Act, and it's not only TMN's intent, but it's our preference to transition all existing Pride employees.
In a 3-2 vote,
Supervisors Hume and Frost voting against the item.
the board moved ahead with awarding TMM the new contract. While it's not something Dern wanted to hear, he says he's always open to working with SMF again.
And Jeannie joins us now. Jeannie, to be clear, even though the county did not renew their contract with Pride Industries, they are still working with government agencies, local companies in our area, right?
Yeah, you know, Pride CEO did tell me that they still have a small contract with Sacramento County. And on top of that, they also have a contract with the city of Sacramento. And they are still working with contracts with other government agencies like Placer County and even with companies like SMUD.
All right, Jeannie, we appreciate the update. Thank you so much. In other news tonight, a 13-year-old girl remains in critical condition after being hit by not one, but two cars. And it happened last night at the intersection of Zinfandel and International Drives in Rancho Cordova. The Sacramento Sheriff's Office says the girl was hit in the middle of the road. They say the first driver stopped, but
the second vehicle, we're not sure if they actually knew they hit her or not, so we don't think, or we're not 100% sure if there's anything criminal involved, but we do obviously need to speak to that second car.
Rancho Cordova police traffic cameras captured the incident, and they say that they would like to speak to the driver of the silver sedan that left the scene to come forward. Vandalism with BB guns is on the rise in San Joaquin County. Lathrop Police and Manteca Police both have reported cases, and they say oftentimes cars parked on the street or driveways are targeted. Police in both cities are now asking anyone with security camera video of these incidents to come forward.
Oh my God.
Absolutely terrifying video. Take a look at this. It shows a drive-by shooting that narrowly missed a Rio Linda mother and child. It happened early Wednesday morning off Paladin Way, and thankfully no one was injured, but the family's home was covered with bullet holes. And the sheriff's office says that the shooting involved young gang members and that another house was the target. A job that is supposed to provide independent oversight and accountability for the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office has sat empty for 7 months. And that changes on Tuesday as Kevin Gardner begins his contract as Sacramento County Inspector General. The previous Inspector General resigned at the end of her contract back in August. And this week, county supervisors unanimously approved Gardner's 2-year contract after conducting a nationwide search. And during the hiring process, Gardner interviewed with members of the public and elected officials, including, of course, the sheriff. The county says that everyone was in support of hiring Gardner.
If we have officer-involved shootings, he'll be out there on those, and just really a check and balance. And, you know, if I have nothing to hide, so to me, we're an open book. Let's talk about it, and he can be that liaison between the department and the community.
And most recently, Gardner served as interim director for the City of Sacramento's Office of Public Safety Accountability. Gardner also served 2 years with the California Department of Justice and as the chief of the Law Enforcement Division, and he worked for the Sacramento and Vallejo police departments. Crews in Baltimore are working to recover the bodies of 4 people still unaccounted for after the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And 2 people, they were pulled out of the water yesterday. They all lived in the Baltimore area and were fixing potholes when the bridge collapsed. Tonight, new video shows the lights on the ship go in and out twice, less than 5 minutes before it slammed into the bridge. Authorities say the swift moves of dispatchers and police may have prevented an even bigger catastrophe.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge.
The NTSB is reviewing preliminary data to better understand what caused the power outage. A full investigation could take over a year, and officials say the next priority is to reopen the busy port. The Biden administration has approved $60 million in emergency relief funds to help with repairs, design, and reconstruction of the bridge. And following the collapse, many are wondering how the entire structure came down in this crash. Tonight, Simone D'Alba explains why it's due to the bridge type.
Engineers say it's mainly due to the bridge type, truss. In truss bridges, there are no cable support. All of the structure you see above the deck is designed to transfer the load to the eventual supports, or piers that head underwater and into foundations. When you take down one of those piers, the shape changes, and the force of the crash is attempting to span twice as far in order to reach the next pier.
It's what we call a continuous structure. Every little piece is connected to another, and unfortunately, it's a catastrophic collapse.
Within moments, we see the central and south side of the bridge collapse into the water. These are the sections closest to the impacted pier. This transfers to neighboring sections of that bridge until finally, within 30 seconds, the north side is also collapsed.
Still ahead onto the point, 6 years after her body was found in a river, the renewed push for answers in 22-year-old Raven Levitt's death.
We're looking at some mostly cloudy skies now, a few sprinkles to the north, but the next storm system is set to arrive. How much rain and snow we could see.
So it was nice and sunny today, but the next storm is on the way. So let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Carly Gomez, because we could see some rain tomorrow and Saturday. Is that right?
That's right. And even as late as Sunday morning, depending on where you are. And yeah, it's Easter weekend, so you're trying to plan all your activities around this rain. We are going to see the next storm system arriving tomorrow. Right around the mid-morning hours, we'll see it first in the Sierra with some snowfall. Then pushing on shore by the early afternoon, and after about 3 p.m., most of it starting to move into the valley. Moderate rain and moderate snowfall. Nothing crazy heavy, nothing that's going to deter you too much from even getting some grocery shopping done before Easter weekend. But a heat up is on the way next week. So if you're looking for warmer temperatures, they are coming. Now, the low pressure system that affected us in the last about 48 hours is starting to shift to the northeast. It'll drag up any kind of remaining showers into the northern portion of the state. But we are tracking another low pressure system set to arrive again Friday morning. And that'll bring us some rain as well as some snowfall. Winter storm warning is in effect for areas right here in pink. We could see as much as 1 to 2 feet of snowfall, and at the peaks as much as 30 inches. Gusts about 40 miles per hour. So ending Sunday morning around 11 a.m. We're going to start to see it go into effect, ending by mostly 5 p.m., but I do expect it to see a lot of that snow beginning to taper off sooner. Moderate snowfall in that purple shade, 8 to 16 inches. Now, we could see as much as a foot to a foot and a half at Donner. Carson Ebbets, 24 to 30 inches. Sonora Pass, 18 to 24 with Lassen about a foot to a foot and a half. Now, let's time it out for you. Clouds roll in, and by 10 a.m., we're seeing the first looks at snow and rain just offshore, beginning to push in right around 2 p.m. The heavy stuff into your evening commute, and then becomes more or less scattered showers throughout the overnight, early morning hours Saturday. And check out Saturday, you're actually getting portions of sunshine throughout the day, very similar to what you dealt with today. So just keep that in mind. By Sunday, Easter Sunday, we should see some more sunshine into the afternoon. You're looking at temperatures mid to low 60s, and then the 70s return next week.
All right, Carly, thank you. Next, on to the point. 6 years later, in the case of how 22-year-old Raven Levitt ended up in the McCollum River is still a mystery. Tonight, we sit down with her father and detectives who are optimistic this case can be solved. This month marks 6 years since a fisherman found a young mother's body in a trash bag in a Sacramento County river. How 22-year-old Raven Levitt died is still a mystery, but Sacramento County Sheriff's detectives say the case, it has not been forgotten, and they believe that it can be solved with new information and technology. ABC 10's Roxanne Aaliyah shows us Levitt's father is also optimistic and is calling on people to come forward.
Driving down this quiet, lonely road known as Brandon Island Road, you run into a small community in Isleton where everyone knows everyone. On one side of the road sits the Lighthouse Marina Resort, where dozens of campers stay year-round. On the other side, you'll find a local favorite called the Lighthouse Bar and Grill, which is surrounded by the McCollum River. On most days, not much happens in this rural part of Sacramento County. But it was in these murky waters on April 8th, 2018, on a cool spring Sunday morning, that a bag containing a body was pulled out of the river. Residents recall a young teen who was staying with his grandparents at the resort made the discovery while fishing at the docks attached to the restaurant.
As he was fishing, he casted his line and caught what he believed was a large item. He reeled that item onto the docks. Inside of the bag were human remains.
According to accounts from people who live out here, the terrified teen ran to tell a manager about the body parts. They called the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. Deputies responded along with CSI and homicide detectives. It was a woman's body, thrown away like garbage. They collected evidence and went to work trying to solve the murder mystery. The Sacramento Coroner's Office used DNA and investigative genetic genealogy to identify the woman. It was Raven Levitt, a 22-year-old mother who had moved to Sacramento just a few months before her death.
What can you say about maybe the last moments that Raven had alive?
Terrifying. Our last moments were very terrifying.
To confirm her identity, detectives needed to travel and speak with Raven's parents, who live in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I wasn't sure how to process that. It's something I hope no parent ever has to experience, right? I've experienced death in the family, a lot of us have, especially as you get older. But that one, to this day, I still struggle with how to process that.
Her father, Rich Levitt, who still lives in Fayetteville, copes with her loss, in his own words, by blocking things out. Almost 2,000 miles away from Sacramento, we sat down with him for a one-on-one interview. He remembers his daughter for being adventurous and fearless, and the very special moments when she gave birth to her daughter, Rose.
Actually, some of my more fond pictures are of Raven when she gave birth.
Her father says Raven, who would have turned 23 years old just a few months after her body was found, had aspirations to become a medical transcriptionist and had made arrangements to start taking classes. Rich says she would communicate with him fairly frequently, and then one day out of the blue,
no texts, just kind of spotty at best communication. I get a text every month or two, and then it was 4 or 5 months, and very, very short, very brief text messages. There were times where I would have communication with her and I would question, is this really Raven?
One day, Raven texted her father saying she was in Dallas after leaving Fayetteville in 2017. He questioned what was happening there, but says she would never really get into the details about the why. She would just say she was with friends and tried to portray she was fine and everything was okay. But homicide detectives determined that was not the case. Detective Niesha Lang says they discovered Raven had fallen victim to human trafficking.
She was working at a job that didn't pay very well. She was a young mother at the time, so we believe that she went to Dallas to make quick money, and the quick money was being involved in sex trafficking.
Detectives say this likely started in her hometown in Arkansas. Raven's family told deputies she began dating a man sometime after high school and had a child with him.
With the investigation, we know that that individual was exploiting Raven in the world of human trafficking.
From there, Raven moved from Dallas to Los Angeles to San Francisco and then Reno before ending up in Sacramento in November 2017. Detectives Robert Ranum and Garth Keffer say during her time in Sacramento, she frequented the areas of Stockton Boulevard and Watt Avenue.
Raven went by several names. She went by her legal name of Raven, but she also went by several street names to include Alexa and Amore.
But what really caught their attention was a short stay in an area about 50 miles from where Raven's body ended up.
However, through our investigation, we also know that period of time where she was in the Slough House, Rancho Murrieta area. And so that kind of stood out to us in the investigation. So we wanted anybody in that area, if they knew anything or saw anything, that they reach out to us.
Detective Ranum says it stood out because it appears to be an anomaly from the other locations where people had contacted her. Raven last spoke with her parents in January 2018.
There was a little bit of anxiety, a fair amount of concern about her wellness and well-being, but I honestly felt that she was making her mistakes. I've made plenty.
Several residents here tell us they still remember the exact date the body was pulled out of these docks 6 years later, and they tell us they're surprised to hear the case is still unsolved.
But I can say that we have spoken with numerous individuals that have come forward that are a part of her, or were a part of her life, and people that we had previously identified but just had difficulty finding. And then there are also those that we were not aware of in the first place that are coming forward and speaking with us.
He says although it's been 6 years, this is not a cold case by any means. They're seeking justice not only for Raven, but for her family and her 7-year-old daughter, Rose.
There's desire for the sense of closure, but I've already had my services for Raven. I've already come to terms with the fact that she's not going to be here with me anymore. Right. So all I can hope now is that we can help other families not have the same experience.
Detectives believe the public now holds the key in finding those responsible.
Can this case still be solved?
Yes, there's always advances in technology, and so you kind of hope for that. And also, 6 years have gone by, like you said, relationships have changed. People that felt an allegiance to one person, or maybe an allegiance to maybe the condition that they were in at the time, and now is the time that they feel like coming out.
The case has left a mark on detectives working in the Homicide Bureau, although they see a lot of violent crimes and murders.
In the case of Raven the Bit, it's a heinous crime, and that we feel that this could happen to anybody.
For Detective Garth Keffer, he holds the case close to his heart. Staying in constant communication with the family, he vows to keep searching for those responsible.
I think about Raven's case every day. Every day I come into the office, I see the binder and I see the work that we've done on it so far.
Raven's father says he never expected to bury his own child, and the biggest reason for sharing the story is so this doesn't happen to anyone else.
To people that may have been part of this chapter or chapters of Raven's life, that may know things or may have seen things, my message to them is, let's, for her or for others, right, let's share what we know.
And people, especially in the Slough House or Rancho Marietta area, they are encouraged to say something if you have information about Libet's whereabouts or if you knew anything about her. So police also want people to know that there is certain information that they cannot share with the public in order to protect this investigation. But anyone with information regarding Raven Libet's murder can call the Sacramento Valley Crime Stoppers. Their number is 916-443-4357. We'll be right back after this. That is our show tonight. Thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. We love telling your stories. We love getting to meet you. So if you have something that you think we should be looking into, make sure you reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are people we just haven't gotten a chance to meet yet. So take a little bit of time to get to know someone. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.